What's going on, you guys? I made this channel a long time ago. I had a Suburban with a sixth order C-pillar wall in it. I was really wanting to document the full build as I went through it, and maybe throw in some tips and tricks along the way. I'm not super knowledgeable as far as building goes. I just kind of build it and go on. You can see my messy shop. It's working on being cleaned up. It was really bad, but this wall's bad. I got this whole wall cleaned off. But this is where we will be doing this build. Got all the wood today. Pretty excited about that. I've just been waiting, saving money, kind of doing that thing. We got 8 sheets of MDF here. Sure, somebody's going to say somewhere, why didn't you use birch? I used birch on my last build in my Suburban, and I had probably $600 just in material alone for the box. And I wasn't even really using that good of birch. I was using the Home Depot 5-ply stuff. It's like $70 a sheet at Home Depot. But for this build, I really wanted to go MDF because, one, it's cheaper. Two, I've never built with MDF ever since I first started building boxes. Oh, shoot, when I was 16, 17 years old. I've always pretty much used plywood, regular plywood. So this time I was really wanting to use MDF. See the differences, see if I liked it better. I know most people prefer birch, but I wanted to give it a shot for myself. This is just kind of an introductory video. I just wanted to get something posted on this channel. Like I said, really excited. Now that that's sitting here, I've been lacking a little motivation, but now that these 8 sheets of MDF are sitting here, I'm starting to get pretty excited about it and get pretty stoked. But it's gonna be kind of a long process. I think shows start up around April or so. For me, I'm part of the Arkansas SPL. I live in Northeast Arkansas, and I'm part of the Arkansas SPL group. So I go to most of their shows. But I am a SoundCube nut. I love SoundCube brand. Yes, it's more of a budget brand, I agree, but once you get up into their higher lines, the HDX3, the HDX4, you start getting into some super good competition subs. So yeah, I'm really excited to get those out. My Suburban had 4 HDS3 15s in it, and I had those on a Sundown 7500. This time I'm going to tar amps. I'm actually going to do a tar amps 12K. Briefly, when I first started that build, I had a Taramps HD 8K, and I really liked it. It did really well. I had a lot of rise in that system, so I was only clamping, I think, around 5,200 watts, 5,500 watts, something like that, out of the HD 8K. I switched to the SCV, the Sundown 7500. Great amp. I loved that amp, but it didn't handle the rise as well. I was only clamping 47 or 4,800 watts out of the SCV, but it was just simply due to impedance. If I could have wired that down to 0.5, I would have seen a totally different animal, and I understand that, but I just didn't have the subs to wire to 0.5, and frankly, I didn't want to, because those HDS3s are only, I believe, 1,200 watts a piece, and it had just been really overpowered. It was just not needed. They were at the max. They were at the max that they could take. Like I said, I had around 5,000 watts on, and that was about all I wanted. They would get stinky super fast. Of course, it was a clean signal and everything. It's just they weren't built for that kind of punishment. They were built for daily driver system, and that's just what they're for. I mean, I bought them for, I think, $120 a piece on a Christmas special. They put them on sale for Black Friday, and I bought them on Black Friday for $120 a piece. I mean, they did a 154, I believe. Still really good subs. Just for the application I was using, I was putting them through some abuse, and in my daily driver to boot. This one, however, we're going with the HDX3s. Like I said, on a 12K, I'm hoping to clamp 9,000 watts for them. 10,000 if I'm really lucky. We're going to go with 80 of Yinlong cells. Still have to order those, but much beyond that, that's about it. I'm doing all CCA in this ride as well. I'm trying to keep this one as budget friendly as possible. The last one got kind of out of hand. I did all Sky High OFC 2-aught, and I've still actually got quite a bit of that hanging around over here. That's the 2-watt that I have from the Suburban build. So I'm probably going to get a run or two out of that from the front. And then the rest, I actually bought a big spool of pink CCA, and I think I got it for $40 or $50 for a 50-foot roll. So that'll have some of that in it. And then in the back, I'm going with all the sound cubed. I'm going to go with sound cube wire. I really wanted to go sound cubed amps on this, but again, I'm trying to keep this more budget, and I was really wanting to go with 2 of the 4500s wired at 0.5, and I think that would have been great on these subs, but maybe later. Maybe I'll get this up and playing, and then we can start saving again and change to the 4500s. Eventually, I would love to have everything sound cubed in this ride, but it kind of is what it is right now. So just do a really quick walkthrough of the truck here. So I don't know how well you guys can see. This is actually all shot on my cell phone camera. I'm just doing this really quickly just because I happen to think of it. I actually have a much better camera that I'll be shooting most of the stuff on. But in the back, we got some repairs to make. At one point in this truck, they had a gooseneck. This is a 98 Chevy Silverado, by the way, 4-wheel drive. The truck is rough, but it's mechanically in good shape, and you know, I didn't really want to buy a nice vehicle and tear it up, so here this one is. And the good part is, this is not my daily driver. My Suburban that I had the C-pillar wall in, it was a C-pillar 6th, and it was my daily driver, and I loved it. I love driving my sound rig every day, but at the same time, I have a 2-year-old, and being able to put stuff in the back or whatever is kind of a requirement for me. So I have a car now that I drive every day, and this will just be my fun rig. But yeah, we're going to probably weld a plate over this. I'm a very amateur welder, but I think we can do a good enough job to cover that up. And then back there, somebody at one point replaced a fuel pump and just left it cut open. There's a piece of wood bracing it across the bottom. So we're going to go through and weld all that up and get that looking pretty again. But across here, I'm going to have a steel pole welded here and here with probably like 2 cross braces going across like a tic-tac-toe board. And I'm just going to mount my board up there. All the amps and batteries and all that stuff will go back here. Keep it out of the cab. Probably the mids and highs amp I'll even put back here just to display it and make it look pretty. I'm probably going to cut an access panel down here and run a tube through, and that way I can run anything into the cab that I need to run, RCAs and stuff like that. Still haven't decided if I want to take my power and ground runs and run them through the cab and into the bed right there in that access panel, or if I'm going to run underneath like I did my Suburban. These are going to be a lot shorter runs, so I'm thinking about just running them through the cab just for, you know, the sake of keeping them out of the weather. The OFC that I had in my Suburban did great under the car, under the truck. They did fantastic. I had no complaints with that. I know a lot of people worry about abrasion stuff, but, you know, I zip tied them really well. Used corrugated loom under the engine bay where it was, you know, susceptible to heat and all that. And, I mean, it did fantastic. So I still haven't quite decided on that yet. I still have to strip the interior out of the truck, get the seats and the carpet and the center console, all that good stuff out. And then once I have all that out, I can kind of decide whether I want to go through the firewall. The only problem with that is if I do go through the firewall, I'm talking about having at least 2 power runs of 2-watt and 2 ground runs of 2-watt. And I'm hoping to do that all in that OFC sky high wire. If I can't, it is what it is. I'll use the CCA as well, but, you know, it should be fine. So that's what's going in the back. We still have some repairs to make. I'm kind of considering about going ahead and taking these windows out, boarding them up and fiberglassing over them, just making this a solid shell. At the very least, I'm going to paint them. Like I said, there's not going to be, I'm not building the box back here, so, you know, I don't really have to worry about that, but just for look's sake, I'm really not sure. I'll probably just end up painting them black and leaving them. I mean, they're going to be fine, I believe. But yeah, so I got the truck, I believe, for $1,200. I bought it about 2-3 months ago, and then I paid $80 for the camper shell. We still have to figure out a back door. That's the reason it was so cheap. He accidentally ripped off the back door and didn't have it anymore. It broke, so we're probably just going to cut a board out, put some hinges in, and make sure it all seals off really well, because the amps will be back here. We want all that to stay dry. Sorry I'm talking fast. I just really don't want this video to linger on and on. But anyway, we will walk around the side of the truck here, if I can squeeze out. Show you the inside of the truck. It's still really dirty because I had a bunch of stuff in here, but from the other day, I just pulled it all, put it all in here to get it out of the way, and I haven't taken it out yet. But yeah, this is the truck. I guess I could back up and show that. There's the truck. Like I said, it doesn't look terrible, but you can tell it's been used pretty hard, so I didn't want to make it a daily drive or anything. It was just a cheap truck. Anyway, yeah, so we have to take all this out. Somebody has really pulled this truck apart before and done some stuff. Apparently they just had these seats. These are not original to this truck. They're not even really bolted down. I think it's got 2 bolts in it, one there and one there. So yeah, we're going to take these seats out. We're going to pull the carpet out, pull the center console. I want to be building my own custom center console there. Probably going to be doing door panels. That'll be my first time ever to do door panels. So that should be pretty interesting. But I think I'm just probably going to go up to here. I'm not going crazy with the mids and highs in this truck. I don't want all the 10 speakers or whatever. I'm thinking either 4 or 2 on either side. I still haven't decided. Probably 4. 4 and a couple tweeters on either side and call it good. Like I said, this is going to be a demo rig, and I'm not really worried about the mids and highs just sounding, you know, being a sound quality build or anything. But when you go to the back, I've already got the back seat taken out and stripped all the panels off and stuff. I'm going to leave these because these actually help hold the door seal in. I was actually going to pull these out and probably just glue this door seal, but I think I'm just going to leave these. There isn't going to be any air pressure back here anyway. If anything, I may shoot some great stuff up in here just to make sure I don't have rattles and stuff when this truck starts flexing. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to leave the door panels on back here. I'm not going to strip any of that off. When you start stripping that stuff off, the door panels sometimes hold certain stuff in, and I really don't want to, just don't want to mess with it because, like I said, it's all going to be sealed off anyway. You're not going to hear or see it, so. Yeah, that's basically it. The box is going to be, I believe it comes 22 inches out, so it comes really close to the back seats, but I've measured about 16 times, and I've got plenty of room there for the enclosure, and the enclosure will go all the way up to this line here, and it'll come all the way out here and down, and it'll pretty much stretch from side to side. I'm not going to have a whole lot of room left back here. Like I said, I should have just enough room down here on this section to run all my power and ground runs through if I decide to go that route. But yeah, that's really about it. The dash needs some help. It's all pretty solid up here, but as you can see up there, there's nothing there. So I'm probably going to fill all that with great stuff and fiberglass over it and call it done. And I will probably just fiberglass this whole thing because you know if it's already cracking once the truck gets to flexing and everything, it's gonna need it. So we're gonna do that. We're going to I don't know, that's probably about all we're gonna do to this truck for right now. Eventually I'd like to get some low-rise seats in here, some low-rise buckets out of something. I've seen several different people do different things on seats for rigs like this, just to get a little bit more SPL. This is not going to be a competition rig. This is absolutely just going to be a demo rig. If it turns a number, I'll be really happy. You know, but if it don't, that's not what I'm building it for. It's tuned low. It's tuned to like 30 hertz, I believe. It is a flat wall, by the way, but it's going to be tuned to about 30 hertz. I just want it to be super windy and center port, you know, so I'll have speaker port in the middle, speaker. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully it'll float small children in the windows and have a lot of fun with it. That's what I want. This carpet's disgusting. These were hunters that had this before, and as you can see, they neglected the truck pretty bad. But we'll get all this vacuumed out. All this carpet's coming out anyway. I'm gonna pull all this carpet up for back here and cut it straight across right there, and that way when I go to laying my wood down, we got some studs to cut off there and grind down. And so yeah, that way we can use some good old E6000, and we will E6000 we'll chip up our mounting points here. That's the factory sound deadener that they put back here, but we'll grind that down and we'll E6000 our bracing and stuff back here, and that way we can put our floor down for our box and then just build on top of that. I've done some measuring. I could technically build the box out of the truck, slide it in at an angle, and tilt it up. But since I'm using MDF and there is going to be 7 sheets, you're talking about a 700-pound enclosure, and much short of having 5 or 6 guys to help me do that, which I do not. I don't really have that. So, just going to build it in the truck. It'll just be easier that way, and we can just build it in here since it'll be so much weight. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's actually a little bit wet right there. I'm glad I noticed that. See, that's things you got to notice, especially having that MDF in here. You definitely want to pay attention to that. We will have to find out where that came from. I'm guessing it probably came off this back window somewhere. I don't feel that it's wet now. It just rained yesterday, I believe. But yeah, we will definitely have to figure out. We will probably actually run a bead of silicone around that window just to make sure we don't have any problems in the future. But yeah, so that's about it. Just like I said, I just wanted to get this video up. I just wanted to get it on here and kind of introduce myself in the truck and let you guys know what the build's going to kind of be. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be good. But hopefully I can get some tips and tricks. That way, if you guys want to build your own wall, you can build it and have a little bit of a head start, more than I did when I built my 6, that's for sure. But anyway, we will see you guys on the next video.